Hey guys, I'm here with Alan Sherry.
And this is FSM RX.
Hey guys, Stephen Kinsler here, and we are back with part 2 with Alan Sherry from CSP in Bray, and we just finished up in the last show talking about athletes and Irish athletes getting to the games and to regionals. Actually, I had to retract something because Chris did get to the games. Chris from Unleash is a teen, so I have to retract that. But
beast, that kid is a beast.
He was pretty phenomenal on the weekend as well. Like they were finishing workouts. I think our workout was 6:42 we finished. They finished under 4 minutes. So she's like,
and that's one example. Kids like him coming through.
Yeah.
The next few years are going to be. I think
we're going to definitely see some really good monsters. But we talk off camera a little bit. Obviously, big. You're not allowed to talk about it, but like steroids in CrossFit. CrossFit is a sport. You can make money. I think any sport that makes money. There's people take steroids, and they always thought there should be a drug Olympics, there should be this. There's more people doping for everything. So, in your opinion, CrossFitters higher level, like it has to be in there. There is people on it. You can't say no. We're all just cool community family people. And
I agree with you completely. Yeah, I think it's very naive to think that people aren't. You know, especially at the top level of sports that aren't tested as well.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's very naive of people to expect people to be putting in performances that are superhuman without going to superhuman lengths.
Yeah, I eat really good diet and I sleep my 8 hours.
If you want people to train for the volumes that Olympic athletes train at, 6-8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week for 10 years to get to the podium on the Olympics, that stuff, like we said, isn't conducive to health and longevity. So if you're looking for superhuman performances, that's just going to be part of the game, you know. And
what would you say, like, what would the, like, I know a lot of them, we just can't take them over, record stuff to make them go. So if you, like, I know that guys, like, in all sports take steroids, but with CrossFit having such a vast range of movement, you've got endurance, you've just got because CrossFit's everything. Like, would you even care to guess what guys would even take? I'm assuming personally they just have to take mainly kind of like testosterone just to recover. They wouldn't be taking like kind of stimulants and stuff like that as much.
I'd say probably that to recover, that's a big thing. And then I would imagine if you look at guys like in MMA and stuff like that, it's the same type of sport. It's very endurance based, you know. And a lot of those guys pop for stuff like EPO, cycling, EPO, something that's going to actually produce more blood cells and enable you to produce more oxygen to go longer. Stuff like that is obviously going to be very prevalent in a sport that is mainly endurance based, I would imagine. You know? But again, with the recovery thing as well, that's just so huge, you know, because the volumes that people are putting themselves under repetitively are going to wear and tear you and break you down, you know. And then when you see guys coming back from serious injuries, like at top levels of sport, like how many guys do you know that have blown out ACLs and been back training 5-6 months later, 8 months later? I mean, I know guys that have blown out ACLs and they can never squat again, like properly, you know what I mean? Like, so stuff like that. And again, like I said, that's not I don't view that in a negative way whatsoever. If you ask people to do superhuman performance and superhuman efforts and superhuman volumes, you can't expect them to be eating paleo and getting 8 hours sleep at night.
Well, that's it. Like, I don't like, even if you watched I don't know if you watched, I watched the Rich Froning documentary. His food, he just eats whatever the fuck he wants. He's genetically good. Now I know people question whether he's taking stuff or not. He's done testing, so is Sam Briggs, and they do testings. They pass
CrossFit testing.
CrossFit, but you can't have, if you want to have a really good body, really good lifestyle. You can't be an athlete because the athlete life is kind of you got to be willing to sacrifice, and then you got to be willing to, like, if you know for a fact you're competing against a guy that's on it, you'll be more tempted to do it. Plus, if there's a nice money purse at the end of it, I'll just do it once.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well.
Now there are some genetic freaks, I would imagine. Like if you look at Fran, and that guy's a genetic freak, you know. And if you look at stuff like his VO2 max scores that are posted in the world, are fairly good for an athlete that has to do a lot of strength work too.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. You're definitely going to get outliers and genetic freaks that mightn't need anything at all.
Yeah.
But that's going to be in the low percentages, you know.
It's the few and the far between, like, but it's when you get the rest of the categories, like the rest of the athletes coming up to try and match his level. Yeah. Guys are just going to go.
And another thing that I would say as well is it's just like in the early days as well, when we were opening gyms coming from a different background, and CrossFit was kind of underground, everybody was all about that healthy lifestyle, paleo lifestyle, and we all were against, like, or shied away from that kind of thing. Yeah. That was very prevalent in commercial gyms and commercial settings. CrossFit's getting very, very commercialised now. Like we talked about the affiliates that are in Ireland at the minute, and a lot of those people that we would have seen in commercial gyms that kind of wouldn't have went near CrossFit affiliates in the beginning are CrossFit gyms are filled with them now, you know. So that as well is more than likely going to have a knock-on effect and a carry over, and you're going to see that a lot more prevalent too. You know? It's just part of the society today. Like.
And you're not just walking into your local box that's the warehouse now, and it's like there's some CrossFits now, lovely CrossFits, you're walking in and it's a plush reception, and it's got like, it's gone as commercial as you can make a warehouse, and it will progress. Like if you look at all the affiliates. But do you then coming on to a different question, then do you think there's like there's always this talk about the CrossFit bubble, and we don't know what CrossFit's going to do, and as affiliate owners, do we stay CrossFits? And you've seen that people have changed their name, like we're FSM, we have a CrossFit, and that was my basis. But when I was on the seafront, we were CrossFit Bray, we couldn't do anything else. Yeah. We were CrossFit Bray, and that was our name unless we changed our branding and stuff. I know like the likes of Resurrection A is CrossFit West Dublin, Perpetua Fitness, it was CrossFit Dublin, PTI, to all fairness to Stephen, he's always been PTI. And then recently Ascendance, down Patrick, CrossFit, and now Ascendance and Gorilla Fitness, CrossFit Clonakilty. They're all the same company, but you can see that people are kind of rebranding their structure just in case. So for you and CSP, do you see that just, well, not even that if you're making a change or not, but do you see that there's something coming down the line? You think CrossFit's bubble is coming close to kind of hitting, and then everyone's going to jump ship? Or have you even thought about that?
Definitely. I mean, it's business at the end of the day. It's like anything. When there's an oversaturation of business, people need to do whatever it is that separates them. And no matter, I've had this conversation with a good few affiliate owners lately, and it's suppose another thing that other people don't really want to talk about on the album. But again, when we started CrossFit, there wasn't many CrossFits, and
it was small,
a different thing. And but now with the fact that there is so many affiliates out there, you need to have your own brand. It needs to be different. Something I tried to do at the beginning with CSP was have the CSP as the brand. You know? We didn't want to be pigeonholed as a CrossFit gym. We're obviously producing high level weightlifters, powerlifters, CrossFitters too, and people who just want to come in and lose weight and just get fit. That's cool too. And that was our main goal at the beginning. That's why we kind of pushed the CSP aspect more so than the CrossFit performance aspect.
When people say, like, when people talk about you, it's not CrossFit down in Bray, it's CSP. And when people say FSM, they don't say CrossFit, they don't say CrossFit Strength and Performance. And that was an intentional aspect from you, and it was very intentional when I did it. But I do see that the fact that we've already seen CrossFit shut down in Ireland, and I know there was a big thing about we should put a community, a board together for affiliate strong and all this, but it doesn't matter. We could get 10 CrossFits to work together, and the 11th guy will go, no, fuck yous. Because why? Because there's no law governing body to say that I have to do what you tell me, and we can't really support each other. But if you have a strong brand, and I have a strong brand, sure, it's the fitness industry.
I think that's a very, very important point lately as well, and I think I agree with you completely. I think there's going to be probably an awful lot more people either closing down or changing brands or whatever the case is. At the end of the day, the only people that understand that all CrossFits are different are other coaches or people that really know. The general public, which is our market, they don't know.
They just type in CrossFit, comes up, and then they go,
they get in touch or they don't. You know, so the branding, and you can only put out so many blog posts explaining how CrossFits are different. But realistically, the only people that understand that are people who know CrossFit well, other coaches. So the general public don't, you know, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunately, for the same reasons that CrossFit was such a good business model in the beginning, it's also now probably a bad business model, because at the end of the day, no matter how good your CrossFit affiliate is, if it's known as a CrossFit affiliate, HQ let 12 other affiliates open in the same town as you, that creates a problem.
Like so, like somewhere, like I know we've 3 in Bray. Bray's a big town, but someone could move across into that. There's a spare work with that. It's been sold.
Someone else moving there.
There is a warehouse across the way, and if someone moved in tomorrow, CrossFit wouldn't do anything for me.
It's tiny though, isn't it?
Yeah, really small. Leaks everywhere.
But yeah, that's a problem, you know, because realistically, it's an affiliation, and you're not getting. It's not a franchise, so you've no security with that. Yeah. Which I know. And we can all talk about, like, look, if you have your own brand, blah blah, just cream rises to the top, which it absolutely does. Yeah. But again, if you understand business and the way business works, if you look at the general population of the market, they're our market, they don't know any different.
But it's like that rule. If I go to a good CrossFit affiliate, I will be like, oh, it's a great affiliate, cool members, this, that. But I understand it. But if you go in as normal Joe Soap, walk in through the door, it's a shit experience. You're going to tell everyone at CrossFit shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can't protect ourselves against that. Oh well, the one in Bray is good. Oh, CrossFit's CrossFit. And it's kind of like Marmite. You either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
There's no kind of middle ground in CrossFit.
And I've written a good bit about this before, and I'm like, you can't say that one CrossFit gym does stuff really, really well, but the other CrossFits don't, and CrossFit shit, because that's a problem with coaching and the implementation of coaching, not the actual CrossFit brand itself. Yeah. But there's only so many times you can say that, because again, it comes back to your market, you know, and the general population are our market. So no matter how many blog posts you write, no matter how many times you tell people that, the key thing there is you need to understand that the market doesn't know any different.
And the thing is, like, it's one thing that I write articles. I don't write as much as I used to, but like yourself, we'd write them, but the only people that would read them are the other box owners,
coaches.
The average Joe doesn't want to know why I think CrossFit is developing or why that. So it's like people come to you because how you come across, like what you're trying to. Well, yeah, you are trying to sell yourself. That's the business we're in. Like, you sell your services, I sell my services.
That sounds so seedy, doesn't it?
But yeah, so when you come in, like, it's like kind of, what do I want FSM? What do I want out of my clients? And 9 times out of 10, it's like everyone wants, as you said, the 99%. Look and feel better. Yeah. Have more confidence and train with people that are supportive. Yeah. And that's what everyone wants. No matter what, if you're a CrossFit or not a CrossFit, like we had like people like at the 150. It's a shame that there's non-affiliated clubs here. I'm like,
like what is that?
If you're non-affiliated, like I like the Performance and Fitness Academy, Noel Manelli's gym, they're not CrossFit. They're always at every event. They're really good. They're really like friendly people. There's good CrossFits. There's bad CrossFits. There's good fitness facilities that enter CrossFits, and there's bad ones. Like it's individual.
I never got that argument. I've seen that argument as an insecure way of looking at things. Like, so what if somebody's not affiliated, you know? Like, if you're trying to you're putting on a fitness competition and you want to know if somebody's the fittest or the strongest,
you have to allow everyone.
You have to be a CrossFit.
Like, the biggest CrossFit competition is the Open, and anyone can enter that.
Anybody, exactly.
Anyone. There's no, the money is the same. You don't have to be a CrossFit. You have to have a.
And that's another important point when we go back to the business aspect of being an affiliate, is that there's absolutely, if you look at the affiliation process and what it gives you, it doesn't really provide much in that sense at all. Because if you aren't an affiliate, you can still, now if CrossFit are like, look, once you affiliate, there can't be any affiliates within X miles of you, and you can't do the Open or the regionals or get to the games, that's a different thing. Now it's like, okay, now it's a little bit more exclusive, you know.
But if they did that, they cut their financials.
That's not the case. You could not be affiliated and do the Open and go to the regionals and go to the games, you know. So that's another important point that I think a lot of people are viewing that are affiliates currently. And I think that you're definitely going to see the likes of the branding that we talked about with FSM, CSP, Fitness and Performance Academy. Performance and Fitness Academy or Fitness, I always get that wrong.
The Performance and
Fitness Academy. I remember when I was at my place, I got that wrong. I was like, what are you talking about? But all those guys are killing it and they're doing really well, great job, and they have their own brand. What I think you're definitely going to see is more of that branding, and people viewing it as a fitness facility that offers CrossFit, more than a CrossFit facility that you're not even sure if you're going to get a bit of weight loss or a bit of fitness in, you know. So I definitely think that's the way it's going to
go. Before we move on, another point that was made to me was that we have no idea what CrossFit are doing the next 3 years. They could just turn around and just go, this is what we're doing, and we might like it. And then you're like, okay, do we accept it and stuff? And so I think that's the other thing. There's no security. If you're just CrossFit, I don't want to say a county because there's probably a fucking CrossFit whatever. You're that CrossFit, and then you'd have to rebrand, you'd have to redo everything, and you'll only ever be known as the CrossFit. And that's what I think other people like yourselves, just have CSP, Ascendance have changed, Perpetuate. They've all made that move to, right, we have CrossFit, like FSM, we have a CrossFit, but we're functional strength movement. We run boot camps, we have personal training, we do cater to a broader spectrum of clients. Because that's the business you're in, like, and it's where we all started to be in it. Like, we started as a personal trainer, working one-to-one. The guy wanted to get stronger, the girl wanted to lose weight, she wanted to run a marathon, and we trained them individually. And then I was like, oh, we CrossFit, well, we have to train CrossFit.
I think that's a big thing as well. We all started was a lot of us were athletes ourselves, and we're really into training ourselves, and we wanted to train athletes. That was the big, everyone wants to train, like, oh, get an athlete to the games, I want to be the lad to do that, or whatever. But again, that's such a small percentage, and you don't really realise that until you open a facility as well. Such a small percentage of the population that you're going to get people who are athletes, who can put in those volumes, who are 2-a-day people, you know. You get a lot of people who will say they are in the beginning, and then mightn't be able to stick to those volumes, you know. So 90% of your clients are going to be those every day. People who just want to lose weight, and they have to be the backbone and as important, if not more important, than those 1 or 2 good athletes that you get in the door, you know. It's so key.
I think your community of clients originally when you start is like the 90%, even more than that, is your primary file. And if you're opening an affiliate or any sort of strength gym or conditioning gym, your bulk member is the 9-to-5 worker who just wants to be healthier for their kids, their family, life, might do a competition here and there. The 1%, if you put all your stock in the 1%, you better make sure they're the game's athlete, because that's the only way you're going to get business. So again, you got to look after the average. And as personal trainers, we had those guys. Like our both personal training clients were the average Joe who wanted that little bit of extra attention when they went to a normal gym. And when you open facilities, there's a few things you need to be clear on. And if you are going to open a facility, you got to make sure. Go and ask for help. Go and like ring people and go, hey, listen, can I have guys? Can I take you for lunch, buy a coffee? Because if you don't, you'll like as Alan said, he's made mistakes. I've made mistakes. Getting cheap accountants. Never get a cheap accountant.
Don't trade services for services.
Learn, and it's just like it's not going to be different for you. If you do it the same way, it will all happen the same way. So before we finish up. A little bit of advice for a trainer or a coach, not an affiliate owner, but someone that wants to be a new trainer, wants to be a CrossFit coach, or is a strength coach or anything like that. What would be your kind of number one thing or like kind of piece of advice? Not let's just say number one, but piece of advice you'd give them just kind of coming out of college. I want to be number one.
I think the best. A couple of pieces of advice would be definitely to read as much as possible. Number one, obviously, the bigger your knowledge base, the better, absolutely. But number two, hand in hand with that, is you need to have hands-on experience actually coaching people. There seems to be a lot of coaches who are opening facilities and their first experience of coaching anybody is opening the door of that facility. They maybe trained for 6 or 9 months beforehand, and now all of a sudden they're opening gyms, you know. That's not the way to do things at all. I think even if you have that knowledge base there, doing that isn't the right way to do it. I think you should definitely shadow somebody who has a facility and see the ins and outs of coaching people on a one-on-one basis and in a group class environment as well, because they're 2 different dynamics completely. And just learn, take your time with it and learn. And then obviously all the business stuff that we just talked about, if you're opening a facility. But for coaches then, I definitely think just shadow someone that's been there and done that has a good reputation, while learning as much as possible. You know? And
pay your dues. Exactly. You do. As a trainer, you're not just going to walk into a company and someone's going to give you a 40-hour work week where you make shitloads of money. It doesn't work like that. Paying your dues is the big thing, and interning as shadowing other people is huge, because the amount of years we've done it, you could probably avoid 2 or 3 fucking bad years that we did
100%.
and get there quicker if you just, again, if you spend time and listen. You see, just because you've got a certification doesn't mean you're the best in the world.
How you get better is by making mistakes.
Yeah.
You get better by fucking up.
Yeah.
And if you're just coming fresh out of training in a facility and opening your own gym, you don't learn from fucking up because you haven't had the chance to do that, you know. But if you shadow somebody who's been there and done that and you learn from them, that's huge for people, you know, because you don't want to be opening the doors to 20 or 30 people because you're a good marketer, and then all of a sudden you don't know how to coach 20 or 30 people.
Can't handle that many
your
people.
retention will be good. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so last question, kind of ask everyone, a book, and I know you're saying you don't, it's a tough question.
Tough one, yeah.
But any book, it can be on like kind of the mental side, training, or just in general, a good book that people will get a little bit of inspiration from.
That's a tough one, alright, there's so many books. If it's not for a coach, for the general public,
anyone. It can be for a coach. It can be for.
A book I really like is 2 books I would really recommend for people. Like we talked about earlier, with people get hung up on programs, sets and reps and all this kind of stuff. I definitely recommend. I like Bruce Lipton's Biology of Belief. I don't know if you've read that.
No.
Or Sapolsky's Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers.
Yeah.
You've read that. That's kind of, if people got a grasp of what's in those 2 books. So Lipton's book is a little bit more about epigenetics and how the environment interacts with your genes and stuff, and then obviously Sapolsky's is about stress. And those are really what we're doing as strength and conditioning coaches, is just applying stress.
Yeah.
It's all about stress and adaptation basically. And if you understand the underlying mechanisms behind the training variables, I think that can open up. It's like teaching principles instead of programs. You know?
Yeah.
And that's key for people. And I think just for health and longevity, the general public would get a lot from those too if they read them. A little bit of they're 2 way opening books for sure.
So we'll have the links in the below. So in YouTube, just go below and you'll see the links there. So you can go to Amazon or whatever and buy those books and read them. Al, thanks for being on the show.
No problem at
all. It's been a pleasure. And guys, you'll see part 1. This is obviously part 2. Part 1 was 2 weeks ago. And obviously we have another few guys coming up in the show. So subscribe below and stay tuned. Hey guys, don't forget to head over to our YouTube channel and click the subscribe button and check out FSMRX and be the first to get the latest interviews with top coaches and athletes. Also check out 365 Results for better tips and hints on fitness. Go over to our website crossfitfsm.ie and download your free Rogue Nutrition ebook, and check us out on Facebook and Instagram at CrossFit FSM.